Yeah, so can you see? That's the reference. So yeah, I added the reference so that you see what I'm doing. Let me know. Let me know if you can see it. I don't think I will have to I think I might have to stop. Okay, it's not it's not visible yet. Um, so I don't know what's man, how do I do this? I think I might have to I think I might have to end the stream and do it again because um you can you see the reference? Can you see? So the reference is supposed to be at the top right of the page, but in the stream window, I'm not seeing it. So I just wanted to be sure if you are seeing it. Yes, yes, Pinterest. It's Pinterest. Okay, cool. All right, so if you can see it, then I'm gonna, I'm probably gonna edit all this stuff out. Um, okay, cool. Yeah, that's the reference. All right, so yeah, black and white. Okay, so yeah, so now you have the references on one side and you can see what I'm doing. So let me just go back to work, and whenever I am working on another model, I will adjust so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm gonna give this guy another draw because I'm not really feeling it. So let's try something different. One thing I like to do is I like to draw blind. So let's see what's blind drawing will give me. So I'm not really feeling this face. I'm going to, let's modify this thing a little bit. It's too realistic. Okay, so I want to attempt to do like a color on top of this quickly, and then I'll move on to the next one. All right, so I'm going to quickly add colors. So the technique I use for coloring is just find the mid-tone, the darkest darks, and then the brightest parts, and just kind of work my way around that. So let's say we give him, I'm thinking I should switch up the color to something bluish on this side. There's going to be like a key light in the front. Let me sketch. I'm thinking there should be key, then rim. I just want to try something crazy. It's nothing serious. Then maybe this one is blue, and then maybe this one is let me say green. So I just want to try that. Turn this thing off. Yeah. So let's try that. Let's just have fun with this stuff. Like, I can't go wrong. I mean, the whole world is watching me now, so it would be really sad if I mess this one up, but I'm just gonna take the risk anyway. That's what I signed up for everybody to see my process, so let's just do it. So now be coming towards this color. I want to get these colors to be bright. Please feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions, so that the it's just a bit weird for me talking to myself. So, or we can just talk about anything. I mean, what was the last movie you saw? Anything. We can just talk about anything. It doesn't have to be. We can just chat about anything. So let's say our key light is actually I want something. Let's say this is our key lights. Have you guys seen Eyes of Wakanda? If you have seen Eyes of Wakanda, please let me know. And let me know what you think. I mean, I didn't write it, so maybe we can talk about something else other than the story. Maybe like, or if you want to talk about the story, that's fine. But I didn't work on the story. I worked on the characters, some of the characters. So we can talk about that if you don't mind. I'm using a regular hard brush. Nothing special. Uh-oh. This is a regular hard brush. So we're gonna get a lot of worms. We keep building. Coloring is just like adding layers, using their principles, obviously, but it's just to keep adding layers over and over again until you arrive at what you want or what you think is right. There's no Okay, so I'm gonna lean towards this side a little bit. And this is still my mid-tone, or rather, this is still my highlights. Just take it down a notch. Nobody's seen Eyes of Wakanda, really? Okay. I'll take it that this is a very shy, very shy group of watchers. Maybe you guys don't want to talk, you just want to watch. And that's fine too. So if you think I'm talking too much or I'm trying to force you to talk too much, then just type SU for shut up. Shut up and draw. Shut up and paint. I'll be happy to shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Actually, I'm a very quiet person. I don't know why I'm trying so hard to talk or to get you guys to talk. So I understand if you don't want to talk. Uh-oh. So I'm just using the value. I'm using the values in the painting to paint this thing. Like once you have your values, it's the reason why this picture is readable is because of the values. So value is everything. It's value means a lot. Black and white paintings read because of, or rather, black and white pictures read because of value. So value is still very important. So I'm just using the value to walk my way. Okay. Not too much time on this guy because I like to try a couple other works. I don't want to spend too much time on this guy at all. Good day, Chief. This is the first live of yours. And man, thank you so much, John Apex Art. Thank you for joining. Yeah. Thank you for joining. It's it's a privilege to have you around. I do this every I do this every week, every Friday. Um I love to draw, and I'm not saying it because I'm an artist. I actually love to draw. I draw every single day. Every day I draw for at least 3 hours. So I just thought, since I draw every day, maybe it'd be nice to just turn that into an actual thing. Hence the idea of the sketchathon. So let's just make it a thing and get people to, you know, get to engage people a little bit and hear their thoughts and answer questions and stuff like that. So that's the idea behind this guy every week. This color is too saturated. Let's turn it down a little bit. Painting is really fun if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be very frustrating. But this is not going to be one of those frustrating paintings, I hope, because um I like to think I know what I'm doing. So trust me, I know what I'm doing. So I said we're going to do green. Oh, almost forgot. So we're going to go green on this side. So if we're going green, then I need to start putting some of the green there, because I just want to try something different. Try something different. So obviously, because it's going green, we have to the color will shift, the hue will shift towards green on this side. I almost forgot. I almost forgot. We're going to shift the hue towards green. Then at the same time, because we're dealing with lights, we're still going to see and feel there'll still be some subsurface scattering inside there. Uh, going to lose. As we go down, we're going to be losing some of this color. Okay, back to the front. I'm just want to quick fill these things like real quick. Oh. Okay, it's time to add some colors here. I like to paint with hard brushes because it forces you to see color, like to see individual strokes as packs of colors, as opposed to as opposed to as opposed to where you just use where you use like a fancy brush to hide like with gradients. Use fancy brushes to create gradients, and then you hide all the information inside the gradients. Like I like to break everything down to see what's going on. So it's much harder, but um it's it's a better way to learn, I think. At least for me. You're free to do anything you like. And your work is going to always be readable as long as your values are clear. So it will be readable. Okay. I think time is fast spent on this guy, so I need to speed up really, really fast now. Really, really fast. Let's go, let's go, let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I want to see some blue here. One thing with this blue is you also have to apply, there also has to be some gradient to the blue. Like you can't just apply blue like that. You have to apply some gradients. And the blue is leaning towards gray. One thing about coloring is when you color long enough, you start to see these things as hue, saturation, and value shifts, as opposed to like actual so you see more of value and saturation shifts than colors, than hue shifts, because colors are relative. They appear to look different when you put them side by side with each other. So if you put gray beside yellow, besides red, it looks blue. So I like to play with all those ideas. At this point, we have to start shifting back to this side. This is very tricky, but there's a way. And there's a will, there's a way. Hi, Uzoma. I've been practicing with your tips for tonal studies over the past week, and I've seen lots of improvement already. Nice one, nice one. God is able. Awesome, awesome. I'm not sure I know the tip you're referring to, but I'm glad that you are picking some things. This page is supposed to be a lot darker than this. Should be a lot darker than this. So I'm doing this exercise so you see that it doesn't matter. Like it's not really just about following reference all the time. You can also figure these things out yourself. You can figure out how to, because painting is like problem solving. It's like problem solving in a way. As long as you understand how light works, you can build your way one step at a time to solve that problem. And I'm happy to also share this in this on this call on this live today, because you can see that I'm not really like following the reference, but with values I'm able to solve the problem, the value problem, or the painting problem, the problem of painting this character or this face. So if you can sketch a face and shade that face very well, you can paint that face. That's just what I'm trying to prove here. If you can draw a face and shade that face, then you can paint it. So maybe when next you're drawing, try to experiment a little bit with the painting, with the shading. Try a few shading techniques, because once you learn how to shade, once you understand how light works, then how light hits the form, then you can paint that face. And it's actually not complex at all. So let me show you. Let me see if I can explain these things to you so you see. So if you look at this color wheel on the left hand side, because the hue in the middle, like the mid-tone of the character is somewhere around here, on somewhere around here. So you see where I'm moving my cursor on the left. the hue of the character, the mid-tone of the character is somewhere around here, is like in the orange zone, somewhere around here. So maybe like this shade is the, yeah, something like this. This is like the mid-tone. So let me just put it in the middle here. But then as I move towards the cool side, because it's as I move towards the rim or the edges of the character, I'm changing, I'm moving. So if I move the cursor of the hue up to the right, this hue here, if I move it to the right, then I'm going towards green. So as I'm painting, when I get to the left hand side of his face, I move the cursor towards the green. So when I move the cursor towards the green, I get more of this kind of tones. But you don't want to move all the way because, yeah, we know the light is green. You know, the rim light is green. But if you go all the way to green, it would start to look weird. So look, imagine paint. That's why I was saying that color interacts relatively. If you use actual green here, it becomes too strong. So you have to kind of find that sweet spot between the mid-tone area, which is here, and the green. So maybe somewhere in the middle here is fine. But then you don't want to also be like saturated with the green. You want to lean towards the gray area. So once you shade that like this, then you start to see some of that. But it depends. For example, if that light is really strong, there's nothing wrong with, going a little bit up, like higher up there, just so that you can emphasize the strength of the light if you want to. But you'll have to do it with caution, because the stronger that light is, so what I'm trying to say is, the stronger the light is now, I need to also now dilute these areas. So I need to come in here and dilute all these guys, because that light will definitely bleed the into the subsurface scattering that is going on here. So it's going to bleed into this area. So we're going to be having something like this because of the strength of the lights there. Uh, can you see what I'm doing? You're going to have something like this. The stronger that light is, the more you're going to have something like that there. And this works too. This is also fine. If you come to this other side too, we can apply the same technique as well on this side. So this side is blue. As long as this light is strong here, it's going to bleed into the subsurface scattering area. So, and then we have to move backwards towards our mid-tone. So we're going to have a color like this. We're going to have a color like that. It should be darker than this. So we're going to be having a lot of purple here at the rim. So this is the terminator. There's something called a terminator in. So after the terminator, then you start to see the halftone. So this is the halftone that is reddish. So this reddish color is your halftone, and the halftone is actually supposed to be lighter. It's supposed to have a slightly lighter feel. Something like that. So all these things are principles. Like the more you study, the more you do painting studies, you see all these things. But then also while you're doing this, you also have to pay attention to the fall off. Like the light is going to, because the light is coming from the top, right? So it means that as you go up, it gets lighter. It gets the value increases. Should I say increases or decreases? It gets brighter. but as you go downwards, it gets darker. That same tone, so that same hue, like this same line, this one, as it goes down, it starts to get darker like this. So as I get to this part, it becomes like dark. That's the technique. Then for this part, so I've not painted out this part here. This part, it will not just be reddish. It's going to lean a little bit more towards the purple, like it's leaning towards the blue. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle between this and this. So this and this, the midpoint between these two is somewhere around here and maybe lower. So you're going to have something like this, because yeah, even though there's a terminator there, we still have to have some fall off. Like we still have to have some gradients. Some gradients fall off there. And then from here to here, you're gonna have another fall off again. Something like that. Or maybe this is too red, so let's go to blue. Let's go down. The cooler, the lower you, if you move downwards, it gets cooler. If you move, so when I say move downwards, I mean this I don't know if you can see my cursor, but if you move down, it gets cooler. If you move up, it gets warmer. So let's figure out this nose part. So remember, the light is coming from the key light is coming from the front. It's coming from the front of his face. So if the key light is coming from the front, then we need to keep it warm, and that key light is very warm. So we need to keep it warm. So we're going to be warm, but it can't be because if you look at the picture, this area of his mouth, this part of his mouth is not bright. It's almost the same level of value with this part of the two edges of his mouth. So we're not going to go too far from there, but we'll stay in the warm area. So now when I paint in those hues, you see what I mean? You see what it's giving me? It's giving me something interesting. But then again, I also have to keep at the back of my mind that the blue light, the cooler light is coming from, well, I won't say the cooler light, I'll say the blue light, because green is also cool. So the blue light is coming from this side, and this plane, this place is facing the right hand side, this plane, and while this other plane, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me switch my brush. Sorry. Yeah. So this plane is facing this side, and this plane is facing this side. So we have to think about that. And if the right hand side is blue, it means that this plane has to be blue. This side has to be greenish. So let me just write it out so you see. This side has to be greenish, because it's facing this side. Sorry. And this side, while this other side has to be bluish, because it's facing this side. So I'm keeping that at the back of my mind while I'm painting it. But then, of course, you don't want to be too crazy. Like again, like I said, color is relative to, the way color interacts is relative. So you don't want to go crazy. We're not going to go crazy with the green and the blue. So we're going to keep it modest. So when I move a little bit to the right, when I shift the hue from the color wheel, I get something cool, which should be on this side. I don't want it to be too cool. Okay, so I get something cool there, like this. Okay, that's too cool. This is too warm, so get something cool like that. And then this other side is going to be green, so I move upwards a bit and get something green. Again, this is too like on the nose, but no pun intended. But yeah, so because it's too on the nose, we're going to shift that hue again to make it less on the nose. So I'm going to shift that hue a little bit. And then I think this other one is kind of okay. Okay, yeah, something like that. So now, actually, this is looking too strong. But I'm going to leave it like that. I don't want to spend too much time on this thing. Anyway, so this is the idea. Hard brush plus not blending plus choosing and not color picking from the reference is challenging, but it helps. Yes, it's very, very difficult, but grow. Like if you really want to grow as an artist, you have to try the difficult things. And this is how, this is how I teach people to challenge them to improve. You have to try this stuff out. It's fun. Trust me. I mean, at first it's going to be like a nightmare, but eventually you get the hang of it. So yep. So I'm seeing, and because there's some parts of the face that's there's some planes, like this plane faces the is facing the camera because the key light is facing the camera. So we need to also brighten up some of these parts. This parts. And so you have to be fearless. Just know the principles and be fearless and try things. Try to have fun with this stuff. It's not, you know, nobody needs to see the terrible work. You can do that and nobody gets to see it. I have a lot of terrible work that I think that nobody would see or that I don't get to share on social media. So you don't have to share everything. Try some things out and yeah, just have fun. All right. And hue shifts just makes your work look way more interesting because people would start to look at they'll start to look at all the they'll start to look at all the nuances of your all the nuanced brush strokes, and it becomes like intimidating and it starts to look masterful when you paint like this because people will be like, oh shit, like how much I wonder how long it took him to do all of that manually, without using like a brush picker tool. Yeah, it could make people feel intimidated, but I mean the intention is not to intimidate people anyway. But people would respect. You could get more respect. Let me not say you could get more respect when you attempt to do something crazy like this. So just try it out. There's something with, okay, I was using the wrong brush. Okay. Yeah. So let's spend way too much time on this guy. So let me see if I can still do one more. All right, so his chin, let's quickly work on the chin. That area is going to be very dark. And then it's going to be warm, like close to the mid-tone. It's going to be close to the mid-tone. Always remember your mid-tone is your reference points. Your mid-tone, your brightest bright, darkest dark. Those are your reference points. If you miss those, it might be hard to find your way back. Yeah. Then there's some gradients happening there. I want it to be warm. But we could make it a little bit cool because the chin. So the chin area of guys tends to be like the lower chin. It tends to be desaturated. Tends to be desaturated. So I'm going to shift that hue towards the desaturated side, towards the gray area. Um, yeah, it needs to be desaturated. Okay, that's too much. Okay, yeah, something like this. Uh-oh. Watching this on my commute home. Oh, thank you. Mikhail, I remember your name. Mikhail, thank you for watching. You're always joining in. Thank you so much. So you see what I mean? There's something I need to create like a gradient between this color and this color. So what I usually do is I sample the two, and then as you can see, the hue is shifting slightly. So we don't need to worry about the hue. We only need to worry about the value. So the value is somewhere in the middle here. So if I do this, actually I need it to be a little bit warm. So if I do this, by the time I zoom out, it kind of feels like there's a gradient there. And that usually is just enough. Okay. I want to can add some green here. Maybe a little bit of green here. And then maybe a little bit of blue here. Actually, that looks that looks weird. It looks too symmetrical, so ignore that. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time on this guy, but at least I've been able to share some things that hopefully will help some people out there. So I think it was what the time. Now you see we have come back to the right hand edge of his face. So we need to create a gradient because we have to like find that smooth transition. We have to find that transition from this dark to this warm color. So it will be, you see this, as I sample this, I'm seeing that there are huge shifts, there's a huge shift. So I kind of have to find that middle part, and then I use that. This is not always, I mean, this is a technique, this is a formula, but sometimes you also have to work with your intuition. It doesn't always have to be formulaic like this. Sometimes just your intuition might be telling you to do something else, so you mustn't always follow the formula. Uh, oh man, I finally made it to your stream. Edge Thompson, thank you for joining. Yeah, you made it to the stream. I've been here for about an hour. Yeah, for about an hour. So luckily you made it in time. I still have like another hour. Um, so yeah, thank you for joining to the end of this guy. So we can move on to somebody else, something else. You can still add some rim lights if you want. You have some rim lights here if you want. But when you're adding rim lights like this, you also have to be careful so it doesn't look, because now it looks symmetrical. Symmetry is really boring. You want to avoid symmetry as much as possible. So try and try not to make it look too symmetrical. Okay, so I need to blend. You see that I need to blend these two colors, and I'm explaining all these things. I could just paint without explaining all these things. Maybe I would have spent less time on this thing, but I feel the need to, because there might be some people out there who are looking at this and are wondering how I'm doing it. So that's why I'm taking time to explain this concept. So for this area, you see that there's a shift between here and here. If you zoom out, it's not very obvious, so we can kind of ignore it. But just in case you wanted to blend that in, what I'll do is I just sample the two, like I check the hue shifts, the color differences, and then I kind of interpolate and apply. But then this thing, you don't have to be too formulaic. Like I said, you can